This court's going to call cause number F239992. This is in the 279th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas. And it's in the interest of Jagger Granger. Miss Dakota Granger, would you raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air?
Yes, sir. It's in the air.
Miss Dakota Granger, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You can put your hand down. Miss Granger, just so you know, if Jagger's there around with you somewhere, the baby doesn't bother me. The noises that baby makes don't bother me, okay? Dogs,
okay, yes, sir.
Dogs and cats and cars, you know, that kind of stuff irritates me a little bit, but babies don't ever bother me, okay?
Yeah, he's trying to get me to open some cookies. That's what he came in for.
Well, then open him some cookies. All right. Your witness has been sworn, Miss Overstreet. Do you have any other witnesses besides Miss Granger?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's check some service. Although I know we have service because I ordered DNA testing in this case. Court's going to find that on July the 30th of 2022, the state of Texas served Mr. Anthony Paul Dalco in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. That citation was returning on file with the district clerk's office. Looks like that was on file on August the 1st of 2022. He has not filed an answer, but I do see that I did DNA testing. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let me rephrase that. I ordered DNA testing.
Correct.
All right. I'm looking at the notice of hearing in this case, and Mr. Dalco did receive notice of this hearing. He's not here. Did he participate in the notice of hearing? Or the notice
no,
in the DNA testing, I should say?
No, Your Honor. DDC went to where he was incarcerated to attempt to have him drawn, and they sent us a notification that he refused to comply with the DNA testing, and it was witnessed by both the person who tried to collect and another witness that he refused to comply with that.
Okay. So for the record, Ms. Overstreet, the court does not require DNA testing in these cases. That is the policy and procedures of the Office of the Attorney General. I believe that you have sent me this refusal. However, it's not really effective. It doesn't have his name on it anywhere. I don't know who's refusing to comply.
Okay. Well, Your Honor, we are requesting to go forward. I did speak with Ms. Granger before the hearing, and she said nobody else could possibly be the dad. So
it's your policy, Ms. Overstreet. There's no law that requires you to do DNA testing. You wish to go forward on this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Call your first witness.
I'd like to call Ms. Granger. Can you state your name?
Dakota Granger.
And you are the mother of, is it Jagger Granger?
Jagger, yes.
And what county do you live in?
Jefferson County.
And does Jagger live with you?
Yes.
And at the time that Jagger was conceived, were you engaged in sexual relations with anyone other than Antonio Paul Dalco?
No.
Okay. And you're asking the court today to find that Antonio Paul Dalco is the legal and biological father of Jagger Granger?
Correct.
And are you asking the court today to change his last name from Granger to Dalco or leave it Dalco?
I'm going to leave it.
Okay. And you believe that's in his best interest?
Yes, it is, especially with the charges that are pending against Dalco right now.
And do you know how long Mr. Dalco is going to be incarcerated?
From what the charges I've heard that he has pending against him, I'm pretty sure 10 plus years, because he was already, I believe, on parole or probation prior to receiving the new charges.
Okay. Now, how is the child covered for insurance?
Medicaid, Texas
And
children.
And before Mr. Dalco, how long ago was Mr. Dalco incarcerated?
I had got word from a family member of his back in November, December, he was arrested.
Of what year?
2022.
Okay. And before he was arrested, was he a good dad?
No.
Did he did he see the child?
He's seen maybe Jagger 3 times total out of Jagger's lifetime, and Jagger will be turning 4 come September of this year.
Okay.
And we live in the same city at that too.
Okay. And that's all he had ever seen him was about 3 times?
Yes, and he would never reach out. I've tried to reach out. He would block like any type of contact with me.
Okay. Now, do you believe it'd be in Jagger's best interest to reserve the issue of visitation until Mr. Dalco gets is no longer incarcerated?
With the charges that are recently put against him, I prefer more of the safety of my child to not have visitation with Dalco.
Okay. Well, we'd like to just reserve that issue till he gets out. Do you believe that's in Jagger's best interest to wait until Mr. Dalco gets out?
Are you asking as far as like letting him go up to the prison on the county to do visitation with Dalco?
Now, if you want to do that, you can. I'm just saying, not the court not rule on any visitation at this time.
I guess no visitation. It wouldn't make a difference because he hasn't tried to reach out or see him at all. Basically, in over a year and a half now.
Now, since the time that the child was born in 2019, has Mr. Dalco been incarcerated any other time other than when he was arrested in November of 2022?
Yes, I believe he was incarcerated once prior before the arrest that he just received, and he was in there for 3 months, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So for 3 months, at some point before November 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you asking for any back child support? Or just
yes,
okay. So during the time after the child was born, during the time that Mr. Dalco was not incarcerated, did he help you financially at all with the child?
No.
Okay. And when he was not incarcerated after the child was born, was he capable of working?
Yes.
And making minimum wage for at least 40 hours a week?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know if Mr. Dalco has any other children?
Yes, from what my knowledge is, he has 2 other daughters that are older than Jagger.
Are they
not quite sure on that, but
okay,
I know they're 2.
And to your knowledge, are they under the age of 18?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I have nothing further of this witness.
We'll call you next witness.
I have no further witnesses.
What you asking for, Miss Overstreet?
I'm asking for the court to find paternity, that Mr. Dalco is the father of Jagger Granger, that based on her testimony, that the parties not be joint managing conservators, since he's had really no contact with the child, even when he was not incarcerated. Reserve visitation till he's no longer incarcerated, based on the fact that she's testified he'll be incarcerated for the next 10 to 12 years. Find that there is zero child support ordered at this time. The order that she maintained the health insurance on the child, zero medical at this time, and then retroactive child support based on minimum wage with 2 other dependents for the time that he was not incarcerated.
And what was that time?
She said he was incarcerated in November of 2022, and then 3 months, 3 other months from when he was born in September of 2019. And I haven't had a chance to count the months up. So if you want to give me a few minutes to do that.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Miss Granger, is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
I'm not sure if y'all have the current charges pressed against him, if y'all are able to view it, but
It doesn't matter, Miss Granger. He's not getting out for several years.
okay, that was my only concern, because of the knowledge I have received of why he's incarcerated at the moment was my concern of my child. So
I mean, he can't visit. He can't visit from prison, Miss Granger.
okay, I understand that. I was just more concerned for my child's safety.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying though. I mean, he's not going to have any contact with the child for the next 5 to 10 years, based on how long he's in the penitentiary, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, it kind of sounds like something that we may need to worry about somewhere down the road, but at least for not another 5 to 10 years.
Yes, sir. Jagger, stop.
Very good question, though, Miss Granger. Is there anything else, Miss Granger, you think I need to know about this case before I make the ruling?
No, sir. That's basically all.
Okay. Court's going to find the court's jurisdiction. Court's going to find based on the testimony of Miss Granger. I will find that Mr. Dalco is a biological and now the legal father, excuse me, of Jagger. It is not in Jagger's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators. Miss Granger will be the sole managing conservator. Mr. Dalco will be a possessory conservator. I'm going to find that Mr. Dalco is currently incarcerated, that he's going to be there for at least the next 180 days. Therefore, it is not in Jagger's best interest to award Mr. Dalco any visitation. So there will be no visitation awarded at this time. Miss Granger will maintain the health insurance that she has on the child, and I'll find that due to the jail finding, Mr. Dalco is child support will be 0 and his medical support will be 0. You asked for $6,300 in retroactive child support. You got it. There'll be no payments on that $6,300. He's incapable of making any payments at this time. So 0 on the arrears payment. The court costs will be due by Mr. Dalco, but I'll give him until September 30th of 2023 to pay my court cost. Does that take care of all the issues in this case, Miss Overstreet?
Did you say anything about the geographic restriction?
He's not here, so there's no geographic restriction.
Okay. And then just for the record, the last name will change the same, stay the same.
I'm not changing the name of the child.
Okay, that's everything. Thank you, Your Honor.
Miss Granger, they're going to prepare a proposed court order for me now. If it matches what I said today, I'm going to sign it, get it back to them. They're going to make a copy of it and send it to you and to Mr. Dalco. Do you have any questions about my ruling today, Miss Granger?
No, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're so very welcome. You have a great day. Free to go.
You too.
Thank you, ma'am. This court's going to call cause number F242531. This is in the 279th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Jolena and Angelina Rodriguez. Miss Eileen Wynn, would you raise your right hand and tell me that your hand is in the air?
Yes.
Miss Wynn, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Wynn. All right, any other witnesses, Miss Alexander?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's see if we got service on this case. I'm assuming you're wishing to default.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court's going to find that Mr. Sabino Rodriguez Jr. was personally served with citation in this case in Jefferson County, Texas on February the 2nd, 2022. He hasn't filed an answer. Is his answer time up?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's only been about 20 days since he was served. Well, 26 days since he was served.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check. It is.
Mr. Wynn, can you turn the radio or the television down in the background on your side, please? Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, no problem.
Judge, I believe his answer time was by March 6th.
March, so this past Monday. Okay. Well, I knew it was pretty close.
I thought I double checked. I was like, ooh, that was pretty close.
Well, that's okay. I mean, that's his answer time's up. All right, let's see if he got notice of this hearing. Court's going to find that Mr. Rodriguez did receive notice of this hearing. When did he receive notice of the hearing?
What are you doing? Here.
When did you send in the notice?
I believe that was February 27th, Your Honor, 2023. Same day that we sent it to.
Okay. You can go forward with your default.
Thank you. State what call Miss Wynn. Miss Wynn, what is your name?
Eileen Nguyen.
Okay. And what are the names of the children before the court today?
Angelina Chuklin. Jolena is Chuklin, and Angelina is Angelina Chukmai.
Okay.
They have two first names.
Okay. And what is Jolena's date of birth?
March 31st, 2013.
And what is Angelina's date of birth?
September 24th, 2020.
Who was the father of the children?
Sabino Rodriguez Jr.
Okay. Are you currently married to Mr. Rodriguez?
I am.
And when did you get married?
In December 19th, 2013.
So Jolena was born before you got married, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, were you married to any other person prior to that other than?
That's not correct.
I'm sorry?
No, but they were married in December of 2013. The child was born in March. So the child was born less than 9 months, but still born before they were married. Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, he threw.
Right? I mean, have I got the dates wrong?
No,
Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm just going to ask.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
the way you asked the question, Miss Alexander, you asked her if the children were born of the marriage, and the children were not born of the marriage. One child was, but one child was obviously born prior to the marriage. Now,
My apologies. I thought I said, was she born before the marriage? Oh, that's my question.
Okay, go ahead.
When was Jolena born before you and Mr. Rodriguez were married?
no.
So you were married in December 2013. And Jolena was born in
March 31st.
Of 2013.
Yes, ma'am.
So she was born before you and Mr. Rodriguez got married.
Yes.
Okay. Were you married to any other person at that time?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Could there be any other man who could be the father of Jolena other than Mr. Rodriguez?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Are you asking the court to find that Mr. Sabino Rodriguez is the biological father of Jolena?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And Angelina was born during the marriage, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander, for clearing that up for me.
That's where I was intending going. I thought I was. Anyway, thank you, Judge. Now I've lost my train of thought, Judge. My apologies. Miss Wynn, who do the children primarily live with?
Right now,
Yes.
with me, with my parents.
Okay, but they live primarily with you, correct?
Yes,
Okay. And who makes the day-to-day decisions for the children?
I do.
And who makes the major decisions for the children?
I do.
What decisions, if any, does Dad help you with?
Nothing.
Okay. When did you both separate?
We separated November 27th, 2021.
Okay. And what kind of visits has Dad been having with the children since you separated?
No, he never showed up. He showed up one day in October the 17th. He just dropped a mail off and he left. My daughter, Jolena, we were sitting to eat. She saw the door open. She thought that it was a mailman. And
Okay.
I told her if it was a mailman, they would drop off the mail. But he didn't even ring the doorbell to come in to see the kids.
Okay. So he's not had any visits other than that little visit since you separated in November 2021.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any concerns as to Dad having any visits if he was to exercise visits?
I mean, if he wants to, he can. But he has to let me know because I do work. But
Okay.
every time that he does want to show up, he's always intoxicated.
Okay.
And I can't let the kids see him like that.
Okay. You said he every time he shows up, he's what?
He's always drinking.
Okay. And is
And I
that
don't want the kids to see that.
okay?
And Jolena doesn't like that.
Okay. So if Dad was to have weekend visits, if he
He's
exercised,
welcome. He's welcome to.
okay. So you have no concerns to have what's called the standard possession order weekend visits, summer, holiday visits, if he
But
wants.
I can't leave him alone with them because I already know how he is.
And why can't you leave him alone?
He doesn't feed the child when they're hungry. When I was at work one time, he was watching the kids. He was sleeping.
He did what?
He was sleeping,
Oh, okay.
and Jolena called me because I got her a phone. If she needs anything, she can call me with her phone. And she told me she was hungry, so I told my coworker I gotta go home to watch my kids because something's going on. So they took over and I went home.
Okay.
And it happened so many times, but she never told me until that day. And I
Okay.
told her things like this, she has to tell me. That's why I left the marriage.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting the court know. What kind of health insurance are the children on?
They have a Medicare,
Is that Medicare or Medicaid?
Medicaid.
Okay, thank you. Do you know if Dad works?
Right now, he's not working. Someone told me that he lost his job.
Okay. Do you believe he could at least work a minimum wage, 40-hour week?
Yes, he choose not to.
Okay. Do you know if he has any other children other than Jolena and Angelina?
No.
No other children? Are you asking for back child support from the time that you separated or just current child support moving forward?
Back child support.
Okay.
Oh, Javine, he's spelling it, baby.
And in the last year, Do you know if he's worked at all?
He did work. So they told me that he was working out of town. I didn't know when, but he gave me he sent me money, but only twice. And that's it.
Okay. But, do you believe again in the past year that he could have worked at least a minimum wage 40-hour week?
Yes.
Okay. And how much money has he given you for support of the children since you separated?
Since I separated, he gave me 1,000. He gave me 500, and then hold on, Mama. Hold on. Sit right here. Look. Sit.
So he's given you about $1,500 in cash to support for the children since you separated?
Yes. And then he gave me $250.
Okay, so it's about $1,750 total, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Your next witness.
No further witnesses, Your Honor.
Ms. Nguyen,
Here.
I think I've heard everything that I need to hear about the case, but is there anything else that you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
Not that I know of.
Okay. The court's going to find the court's jurisdiction. The court's going to find that obviously Mr. Rodriguez is the biological father of Jolena. I'm going to now name him as the biological father of the child. I will make the finding that Angelina was born during the marriage. I'm going to find that it is not in the children's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators. Ms. Nguyen will be the sole managing conservator in this case, and Mr. Rodriguez will be a possessory conservator. He will have visitation rights at any and all times mutually agreed to by the parties. If no agreement is reached, then he will have a phased-in visitation schedule, Ms. Alexander, with 12 visits at each phase. So that will be 12 supervised visits by Ms. Nguyen for 4 hours, followed by 12 unsupervised visits for 4 hours, followed by 12 unsupervised visits for 8 hours, followed by 12 unsupervised one-night overnight visits. When that last set of phased-in visits is completed by Mr. Rodriguez, he can have standard possession. At no time during possession of the children is Mr. Rodriguez allowed to consume alcohol.
No.
Well, that's my ruling, Ms. Nguyen.
Yes.
That's, but I do appreciate you agreeing with my ruling. I'm going to find that Mr. Rodriguez will pay child support based on a minimum wage with no other dependents. I'll order Ms. Nguyen to maintain the health insurance on the children. Mr. Rodriguez's child support will be $280 a month, plus an additional $25 a month in cash medical. There will also be retroactive child support in the amount of $2,730, 2730, Miss Alexander. That'll be paid back at a rate of $30 a month. Court costs in this case will be paid by Mr. Rodriguez. I will give him until September 30th of 2023. There will be a domicile restriction in this case as per the local rule. Miss Alexander, does the AG's office have any questions as to my ruling?
So the child support, medical support, and the payout on the retro all to begin April 1st, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I have everything.
Just when Miss Alexander's office is going to send me a court order, as long as it matches what I said here today, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to get it back to them. Then they're going to make a copy of it and send it to you and to Mr. Rodriguez. Do you have any questions, Miss Nguyen?
No, sir.
Hey, you're free to go.
Oh, okay.
I had to physically go down to a courtroom in order to meet the qualifications. This court's going to call cause number F215691. This is in the 279th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Raphael, Illyria, and Rylan Watley. Ms. Roberts and Ms. Nash, please raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Y'all can both put your hands down. All right, let's check some service and see if we're ready to go on this case. Court's going to find that Mr. Watley was personally served with citation in this case on November the 28th, 2022. I can't read the file stamp, but I'm going to assume that the return was on December the 6th of 2022, so that's how it's marked. Has he filed an answer?
He has not, Your Honor.
All right, let's see if he got notice of this hearing.
He has noticed. He said that he told me that he was not showing up to no court.
Okay, well, I have to actually physically see the letter that was sent to him. Okay, Ms. Roberts?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Got it to him just in the nick of time, did you, Ms. Brownzito?
Yes, sir. I believe this
on
one was.
January the 17th, the state of Texas sent notice of this hearing to Mr. Watley. They sent it to the address for which he was served. He's not here. You can go forward with your default.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I would call Ms. Roberts. Will you please state your name?
Rashonda Roberts.
And we're here today to talk about Raphael, Illyria, and Rylan. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, there was a prior order that ordered Mr. Wattler to pay child support on Raphael and Illyria. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. He's actually he's been at minimum wage forever, and it's never changed, and he don't make minimum wage. He's like a superintendent for Turner.
Okay. And you've had another child, is that correct?
Yes,
Rylan.
ma'am. Rollin.
When Rylan was born, did you and Mr. Wattler sign some paperwork saying that he was Rylan's dad?
Yes, he signed the birth certificate.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would offer the acknowledgement of paternity as to Rylan.
Ms. Roberts, I've just placed on the screen a copy of the alleged acknowledgement of paternity for the child Rylan. Is it okay if I look at this acknowledgement?
Yes, sir.
Exhibit A is admitted into evidence.
And he, as you said, he was previously ordered to pay child support and medical support. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
On the other two children.
Oh, on the other two. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, Your Honor, at this time, I would offer the pay record in this case as Exhibit B.
Ms. Roberts, I've now placed on the screen a copy of the alleged pay record between you and Mr. Wattler. Is it okay if I take a look at this pay record?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
State Exhibit B is admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. How are the children covered for health insurance?
Medicaid.
Okay. And are you requesting back child support or to start from here forward?
I'm requesting back child support. Yes, ma'am.
To the point that it is legally allowable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Since Rylan was born, in the last 4 years, has Mr. Wattler given you any additional money for the care of Rylan?
Like he has gave me, and I didn't know. Well, maybe he gave me like $75 twice for Rollin.
Okay, so that's the total amount he's given you in the last 4 years?
For Rollin, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But let me tell you, Rollin was over with him, supposed to be like for the spring break, and I was in the process of moving. And when I did, I stayed with my sister for like 2 months. And so I wrote a temporary notarized letter that the school had, that the Rollin was sent with, that he was with his dad for 10 months, where it was supposed to be until I moved into my house.
So Rylan was with him from, when did that start? Spring break in 22?
In 22. And Rollin's been back with me for like 3 weeks, which he's been supposed to have been back. I just didn't know where they lived, where they stayed, or anything. Okay. So if anything, I just wanted y'all to know that Rollin had been with him for 10 months. He kept him, and I didn't know where he was at. The older two kids were calling him on the phone asking. I had no idea. I couldn't go get my baby nowhere. So
Okay.
I mean, if I just didn't want that to affect that
But-
he kept them for 10 months.
But other
So
than that,
whatever-
other than those 10 months from March to
No,
December, he was with you?
He's been with, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, so Mr. Wattler visits with Rylan?
No, not now. No,
Is that because you're waiting for a court order?
that's what I'm waiting on. I'm waiting for a court order.
Okay.
And the Rylan has been back home almost going on a month now, or 3 weeks. And I'm actually just don't want to send him around him until the courts, get everything right, because my baby don't want to be with him, and he will take him and don't bring him back
Okay.
like he
And-
did.
And does Raphael and Illyria visit with him?
Oh, no, over the phone, they talk to him.
Okay. But that's his choice?
That's by their choice, the kid's choice.
Okay.
But I mean, he don't never ask to come and get them or anything, but they don't want to be around him.
Your Honor, I would pass the witness.
You
Oh,
need to-
I do have one more additional question, Your Honor. If I might.
Go ahead.
Miss Roberts, do you know if Mr. Wattler has any other minor children?
Oh, no, he don't.
Okay. I would pass this witness, Your Honor.
Oh, you need-
Excuse me, and he does has
Robert,
he
Miss
did.
Roberts, Miss Roberts.
Uh,
No more, please.
Okay.
I'll get to you. Go ahead, Ms. Bronzito. Call you next week.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, I would call Miss Nash. Will you please state your name?
Dolores Nash,
And where do you work?
Office of the Attorney General,
And how long have you worked there?
5 years.
What is your current title?
Child Support Officer.
Now, in that capacity, do you have the occasion to review wages of our customers?
I did.
And did you review wages in this case?
I did.
And what did you learn as to Mr. Wattler?
That he's currently employed with Turner, and I did the calculations based on 4 quarters of 20.
And has he worked there for four quarters?
Yes.
Okay.
He
And
actually worked
How
there
much did he make?
Okay. Annually is $94,859 and 43 cents. And monthly is $7,904 and 95 cents.
Now, how long did you say he had worked there?
He's been working there since 2019.
Now, in 2019, how much did he make with Turner Industries?
Let me see, 37. I didn't calculate all of that. I'm sorry. Hold on. He only worked in 2019. He worked 2 quarters. The third quarter was 27,320. And the fourth quarter was 37,375 and 89 cents.
So what does that total to?
375, 89. Hold on, just give me a second. 37, 375, 37. It comes out to 64,695 and 89 cents.
And what did he make in 2020?
In 2020, let's see. Let me add that as well, because I didn't have that either. 35.
Go tell him to get the chocolate chip cookie. Go.
For 2020, it was 120,940 and 44 cents.
And what does that come to per monthly?
$10,078 and 37 cents.
Now, as to 2021, I think that's where we're at.
Mhm.
You have the wages for 2021?
Yes, ma'am. Hold on.
The White Sox, not right.
That comes out to $108,738.58,
And a monthly amount?
$9,061.54.
And what is the, what is the, for the last 4 quarters, what does that come out to per month?
For the last 4. 94,859.43.
And 58 cents?
43 cents.
43, okay.
94, yeah.
Now, what does that come to per month, gross monthly?
7,904.95.
Your Honor, I would pass this witness.
Call your next witness.
I have no further witnesses.
Ms. Nash, did you look at Mr. Wattler's information to determine whether or not he had any other children under child support order?
Yeah, I didn't see any other child support orders or any other dependents.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything further from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Roberts, can you unmute, please?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Roberts, is there anything else you think I need to know about this case before I make a ruling?
No, I just wanted to tell you that he has a business too. If y'all knew anything about the business.
Well, y'all don't know anything because I haven't given any evidence as far as what that business may be making.
Okay, well, that's it, sir.
We'll find the court's jurisdiction. The court's going to find based on the testimony of Ms. Nash and Ms. Roberts. I believe it is certainly in the children's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators with Ms. Roberts as the primary custodian. Mr. Wattler will have standard possession, as that term is defined by the Texas Family Code. There will be no domicile restriction. I find that he is not a resident of Jefferson County. And of course, there was no request for non-disclosure. I will order Ms. Roberts to maintain the health insurance that she has on the children. I will confirm the child support arrears according to the pay record in this case and find that as of December the 31st of 2022, Mr. Watley was behind the amount of $68.86 for child support and $153.05 for medical support. Adding the child to the child support case, as well as the information from Ms. Nash, I'm going to find that current child support starting February the 1st of 2023 will be $1,750 plus an additional $355 a month for cash medical. Ms. Roberts will be ordered to maintain the health insurance that she has on the child. I'm going to grant retroactive child support in the amount of $20,000. That combined with the original child support figure that he's behind, I get a total amount of $20,068.86. That's going to be paid back at a rate of $200 per month each and every month till it's paid in full. And then the medical support arrears will be paid off at the rate of $20 a month. All payments beginning February 1st of 2023. Mr. Watley will be responsible for court costs, but I will give him until July 31st of 2023 to pay the court costs. Ms. Bronzito, does the state have any questions as to the terms and conditions of the order?
Just one question. That medical support was $153.05.
That was
that
the
right?
arrears.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
And $1,750 current child support and $355 current medical support.
Yes, ma'am. Starting February 1st.
Yes, sir.
Anything
Yes.
further?
No, sir.
Ms. Roberts, Ms. Brownzito's office is going to send me a proposed order as long as it matches what I said here today. I'm gonna sign it and get it back to them. Then they're gonna make a copy of it and send it to you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, you're free to go today, Ms. Roberts. This court's gonna call cause number C 242213. This is in the 317th District Court of Jefferson County, Texas, and it's in the interest of Amani Antoine. Miss Janaria Spears, would you raise your right hand, please, and tell me that your hand is in the air?
It's in the air.
Janaria Spears, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. You put your hand down. Miss Overstreet, does the state have any other witnesses besides Miss Spears?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's check some service and see if we can go forward today. Court's going to find that Mr. Antoine was personally served with citation in this case in Jefferson County, Texas on December the 2nd, 2022. That citation is returning on file on December the 7th, 2022. Has he filed an answer, Miss Overstreet?
No, Your Honor.
All right, let's see if he got notice of the hearing today. Court's going to find that Mr. Antoine did receive notice of this hearing. Notice was sent to him on January 17th to the same address for which he was served. He is not here. He does have notice of the hearing. You may call your first witness, Miss Overstreet.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Spears, can you state your name?
Janaria Spears.
And do you live here in Jefferson County?
Yes.
And does Amani live with you?
Yes.
Do you know where, what county Mr. Antoine lives in?
The same as me.
Jefferson? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you have any safety concerns or issues with your address being in the court order?
No.
Now, at the time that Amani was conceived, were you engaged in sexual relations with anyone other than Mr. Antoine?
No.
Okay. And we're asking the court today to find that Mr. Antoine is the biological and legal father of Amani Antoine, okay?
Okay.
Do you, is Mr. Antoine a good father?
No.
Can you tell the court why you say he's not a good father?
When I was 7 months pregnant, he ended up getting a girlfriend and we left each other alone. And after I told him I had a baby, he got his girlfriend to fight me. After I told him I was having my child.
Okay. Have you seen him since you were pregnant?
Not after 7 months.
Okay. So has he ever seen Amani?
No.
And Amani is let's see, he's
5 months. 5 months.
5 months. Okay. So do you think it would be in Amani's best interest to initially have some supervised visitation and slowly build up to more visitation?
No.
Why do you think it would not be in his best interest for supervised?
Because of his girlfriend. She continuously threatened me.
Okay. Do you think it might be in a better situation if y'all exchange the child somewhere besides your home?
Yeah.
Do you have a knowing where you live, do you know,
Ms. Spears, if I order you to exchange the child somewhere else, that means you're gonna have to go to that somewhere else every time it's his turn to have visitation with the child. Is that really what you want me to do?
No, I was
So
trying to.
if I say he's gonna get visitation every other Saturday, you're gonna have to go to wherever I say to exchange the child with him, even though he might not ever show up. Do you really want me to do that?
Okay, you can, because he won't show up. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have to show up.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
All right.
You can't get non-disclosure, Miss Overstreet. Said whoever this girlfriend is not a party to this lawsuit, so you can't get at that.
I wasn't asking for that. I was just thinking
Well,
maybe it would help out.
Kind of the road this is going down, and it's just kind of you're
Okay.
going in like 15 different cattail directions, and you're not gonna get where you need to go.
Okay. Ma'am, was there a place close by your house that you would recommend to do that?
The police station.
What city?
Port Arthur, Texas.
Okay. Now, how is the child covered for insurance?
Medicaid.
And do you have any personal knowledge of where Mr. Antoine works?
He works in the Port of Beaumont.
Do you know what he does for the Port of Beaumont?
No, not specifically.
Okay. Do you know how long he's worked there?
I say for about like 6 months.
Okay.
Miss
Did
Spears,
he-
how do you know that he works there if you haven't seen or talked to him in 7 months?
I have my cousin that watches him when he posts
Oh,
his
okay.
um.
Right. So
Yeah.
you're getting this information from somebody else.
Yeah, I have pictures of it too.
Okay. Thank you,
Sure.
Miss. Go ahead, Miss Overstreet.
Okay. So you don't have any personal knowledge how much he's making out at the Port of Beaumont, do you?
No.
Okay. Do you have any personal knowledge exactly what he does out there?
No.
Okay. But you do know he's capable of working full-time and making minimum wage?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you know if he has any other children under the age of 18?
Yes.
How many?
I think it's like 4.
Do you know if any of those children live with him?
No.
You don't know?
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay. Do you have any personal knowledge whether or not he has pays child support for any of those children?
Yes.
Okay. How many of them?
4.
All 4 of them? Okay. Now, you said you had told him about this child that y'all had together when you were pregnant, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever tell him anybody else could be the father?
No.
Are you asking for any back child support or just child support going forward?
And back.
Okay. And as far as you know, the entire time since the child's been born, Mr. Antoine was capable of working and making minimum wage?
Yes.
And has he been incarcerated any time since the child was born?
No.
Okay. And y'all haven't lived together any time since the child was born, correct?
No.
Okay. Actually, I asked a bad question. Y'all have not lived together since the child was born.
Yes, we haven't.
Okay. Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Call your next witness.
I have no other witnesses.
So state rest.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Spears, Mr. Antoine is the father of the child, so I have to give him visitation rights. But I have 2 things I want to tell you before I tell you what those are going to be, okay? The first is if he's not really been the child's father, it doesn't make any difference what rights I give him, Miss Spears. He's probably not going to exercise them, okay?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And the other thing is, I'm going to make them real restricted. And I'm going to make them real restricted because, one, he hasn't had any contact. And two, this child is very young, only 5 months old.
Yes, sir.
All right. So whatever the history is between you and Mr. Antoine, that while that's important to you and Mr. Antoine, it's not really important to the baby. And my main concern is that Mr. Antoine just doesn't have a relationship with the baby. And I don't think it's fair to Jeremiah, or I'm sorry, I got Jeremiah from the last case. I apologize, Miss Spears. I don't believe that Amani deserves to have somebody just pop into his life and take him off somewhere for the weekend. He needs to get to know this baby before it's unfettered access. All right.
Right.
But the reason why I said all of that, Miss Spears, was to say this. In this visitation order that I'm going to do, if you're going to you want to exchange the child at the PAPD, that means every time he is supposed to have visitation, you are going to be responsible for going to the PAPD and waiting there for him when he's probably not going to show up.
Yes, sir.
You sure you want me to order that?
Yes, you can.
Does he have your phone number, Miss Spears?
No, sir.
Well, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do then. The court's gonna find the court has jurisdiction. The court's gonna find it based on the testimony of Miss Spears. It is not in Amani's best interest to name the parties as joint managed conservators. Miss Spears will be named as the sole managed conservator of Amani, and I will find that Mr. Antoine is the biological father of the child. He will be named as a possessory conservator. Any request for non-disclosure is denied. However, there will be a domicile restriction in this case. Mr. Antoine is awarded visitation rights, but due to the age of the child and the fact that Mr. Antoine has not had any real contact with the child, I'm going to order that the visitation will be phased in with 24 visits at each phase. Ms. Spears has asked for the exchange to take place at the PAPD. So Ms. Spears will have to deliver the child to the PAPD for every single visit until further order of the court. Based on the testimony that I've heard, I have to set child support at minimum wage with the multiple other dependents. I'll order Ms. Spears to maintain the current health insurance that she has on Amani. Child support is going to be $145 per month, plus an additional $20 a month in cash medical. Those payments beginning February the 1st of 2023. I'm going to award retroactive child support the amount of $725. Mr. Antoine's going to be ordered to pay that back at a rate of $15 a month each and every month, also beginning February 1st of 2023. He pays court costs, but I'll give him until July 31st of 2023 to pay my court costs. Ms. Overstreet of the state of Texas, here are all the terms and conditions of my court order.
Yes, I got them all.
Ms. Spears, they're gonna make a copy of this court order for me. If it matches what I said, I'm gonna sign it and get it back to them. Then they're gonna make a copy of it. They're gonna send it to you and to Mr. Antoine, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. I thank you for being here today, Ms. Spears. You're free to go.